All right. Unmute. You know, guys, we're working it. It's all about knowing what to do with these new programs. And hopefully we have it here. All right, one more time. God. You gotta have humor, guys. We're doing this day in and day out. But this is a new program we're trying as well. So every little bit of familiarity helps, just like the 6 steps, right? Got to keep practicing it. So again, welcome to our webinar today, the Alexander Professional Webinar. Today, I'm going to discuss with you how you can help your clients who suffer from hormonal facial hair growth. And I'm sorry about this quirky beginning, but we're ready to go now. Save your questions, or you can actually write your questions because my little helper Nadine here is going to make sure I get to them all. Thing is with the hormonal facial hair growth is that you're going to learn, if you're not already applying it, what you can really do to partner with your clients and really make it an exceptional treatment for them, and you'll feel so good about it, I promise you. So the thing about hormonal hair growth is that it can be very troublesome for the people, obviously, who suffer it more, and some get it to the point where they have a man's beard, like full growth, but it's also tough hair, right? It's very tough hair, and I'm not here to pretend anything except for this. For sure, you'll never get rid of it at 100% rate. I'm an example. I have hormonal hair growth from when I had a hysterectomy when I was in my mid-30s, and it was like overnight, I got all this hair, but they were like medium brown. You know, I'm very blonde, so I had a lot of vellus hair at one time. I still have some, but this was more than vellus hair. I got more vellus hair in this area, but I started getting like dark brown, medium to dark brown hair, and they were definitely getting more coarse. I know for sure if it wasn't for the sugaring, I wouldn't have it under control. But I'm happy I have it 100% under control. But I got to tell you, sometimes, you know, I'll go in my car and I'll set the mirror or something, and it's a sunny day, and I'll think, oh my God, and I've got long blonde, but I can't even feel them. They're so fine. So then I know I have to do a quick treatment and get rid of them. But they don't, there's no resistance. If I pull on one, I could probably just pull it out with my fingers. That's where I got mine to. And that's where you want to get all of your clients to. That takes dedication from you as well as them. And we're going to talk about how you can convince them to partner with you, to dedicate with you, to get better staggered growth, refinement, and then diminishment. So I wanted to start by showing you this photo, and this is obviously very clear. It's a very short hair. You can see on the left side here that she has damaged skin. That was from waxing. So we had to not only help her to heal her skin, we had to continue to take away the hair. And you can see it starting here. You know, I would consider that probably a staggered period of growth. But there's still some hyperpigmentation here, probably from some damages in the past. This was her first sugaring treatment. That's why we got to take these pictures for the practitioner who shared it with us. Now, I'm going to say, when I look at this, you might say, wow, she's really red. But look at this section here. It's even more irritated, more deeper in color. That's because of the hyperpigmentation here. There was already past damage, but this looks red. And at first, when I had seen it, I thought, wow, did they overwork? It's a possibility, and we're going to talk about that. But if I look here where no sugaring was done, it could just be how her skin is. So at the end of the day, I think this was a very good treatment because you can see the tiny hairs came out, and that comes through the tough hair extraction method. So hopefully by the time we're done this, and if you have questions, I can guide you to where you need to go to learn everything we're talking about here today. Because tough hair extraction, you can't deal with this kind of hair if you don't learn that tough hair extraction, and there's a reason for that. But we have courses for you to master that as well. So the best way, the absolute best way to partner with someone who has hormonal imbalance, facial hair growth, is to put them on minute packages. I started that a really, really long time ago, and I promote it as much as I can. I'm hoping that this particular PowerPoint, which will be available to you, this webinar will be available available to you afterwards. I think I've broken it down simple enough that you can create your packages in your own salon for yourselves, for your clients. So the purpose of the minute package is to have them come more often. And the reason you want them to come more often is to reach permanent reduction faster. So first, you want to unburden them with full facial, especially if they're shaving, full facial hair growth. And the only way to do that is to get that initial treatment to stagger the growth, which means obviously you're going to get some hairs in anagen, some hairs in entelogen. The hairs that are extracted in entelogen will be the first ones to come back on the next run. The hairs extracted in entelogen will come back much further down the line. So you automatically will stagger the growth so that they're not burdened with full, shadow growth, right? That's the first important thing. Then consecutive treatments will continue the staggered effect, but you'll begin refinement. And by refinement, at the very least, you want to see the hair come back where the tip is a naturally pointed tip. In the beginning, it's still going to be pointed, but thicker, right? So you want it to get so it's a fine point. So when it comes out, it's not pronged, it's more curved downward. And that's the better stage to get to right then. And from there is more ongoing refinement, staggerment, and then diminishment. Because you will get rid of some of it. You just will never reach 100% when it's caused by hormones. We're not going to reach 100%. Even people I know on medication, even if things are better, and better is better. For me, even if they're on medication, I've seen where they still continue with growth. But for me, the best thing we can do with our customers is to unburden them with this hair growth. And that's what the minute package is all about, to unburden them and have them feel feminine without concern of having shadow in the middle of the day. That's what this is all about, ladies and gentlemen. So why you should implement the minute packages. All the reasons I just spoke about, that's the number one. All the reasons we just discussed. And the other one is to be fair to you as a practitioner, salon owner, or whether you're employed by a salon, is to be fair to the business, whether it's yours or somebody else's you're working with or for. And the other is also to be fair to the client, because imagine if we charge, I don't know, let's just pick a number. If we charge $50 for a full face and they have full hormonal hair growth, and every time they come in, we have to charge them that price. That would be unfair, right? And it would be a lot of work because they might come in every 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and then they'd have too much growth and they might have shaven in between. It creates a situation that's unpleasant for both sides. You don't feel the satisfaction of seeing the great results I know you're going to get, and you don't feel the satisfaction of some conclusion, and they don't feel the satisfaction either. I'm going to tell you right now, they just come because they don't know what else to do, and they're just trying to get something done. This is going to take all that problem away, this partnership. And I should say right here, I always tell people, when we get through the package, you'll understand a little more. So sometimes, and I'm sure some of you have seen it at stop signs or stop lights. If you look and there's a woman next to you, and any woman that's ever doing this, it's because they're feeling like a little tiny hair. So I used to tell my clients who were on a minute package, if you're doing that, you're at a stop sign or something, turn around and come back to me, or come to me. When you only have a few hairs, a couple of hairs, you don't need an appointment. I would tell them, just come in. I can usually squeeze them in between clients, or even if I'd say, can I just leave you for 1 second? I need just 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and I go to this girl. And then I just take the 2-3 hairs that were troubling her, and off they go. And I'm going to tell you how you make that worth your while financially as well. Okay? So the minute package, because we'll talk a little bit more when I finish about this on how you're going to make this work for clients. This is how you calculate. And it's the biggest question I get. How do you calculate the minute packages? Let's go through it slowly and methodically, because you will have access to this afterwards as well. One, you have to determine what your revenue needs are per square foot, basically, or what you want to make. I won't go into so much detail. What you want to make per room, per treatment room, per hour. You should figure that out. If you're in a high-end place and the rent is astronomical, then your numbers are going to be different than somebody who's in a small community, little corner shop, something, right? Or renting a room, something like that. So you need to decide. For purposes of simplicity, I believe I'll show you, we went with a number. I think it was $60 a minute. So we'll get to that. Number one, decide that. Number two, decide what you want your gross profit margin to be. I can't help you with that. You need to decide what you want your gross profit margin to be. And then from there, you add 1 and 2 together. So let's say you decide your gross profit margin to be 10%. Then you'll add that, and your room, you need to decide, you would need to make $60. Then that would bring you to $66, right? So you have to do that. So just remember, you decide what you need to make per hour in your treatment room and what you want your profit margin to be, okay? And then you would divide, gotta stop touching. Then you would divide that total by the 60 minutes, and that'll give you the cost per minute that you will charge. And then we'll go step by step what you do with that charge. So let me get there now. So we're calculating the packages now. Let's say you determined you want to make 3 different packages. I'm just sharing with you what we have on our menu and what I've done in the past. I always had 60-minute package, 120-minute package, and 180-minute package. So you choose. You don't have to use these numbers, but for the calculations today, this is what we're using. Now we would apply the cost per minute that we determined back in step 4. We would apply that to the largest amount. Okay, so that would be the largest package, the most expensive package for a customer to buy will be the 180 minutes. Okay, so hold on to that thought. And then you would calculate the total package cost by multiplying the minutes. So that would be, let's say we determined let's say it was 60 minutes and it was $1 a minute, just for quick calculation right now, then it would be $1 times 180 minutes. So that package would cost $180. So you can write your questions down if you're unsure, and I will get to them, I promise. And then you would decide what you're comfortable. So that $1 times 180 plus what you want to make for a profit margin. I generally recommend 10 to 20%. Don't be afraid of wanting to make money. This is one thing I want to tell you. And this package is going to be so fair for your customer that you need to remember you're here to make money as well, right? And then you would add that percentage. So let's go with 10% for a minute. It was $180 plus 10% gross margin I want to make sure I make. So it will do the calculation after. And then you would add this profit margin to your basic 120-minute package. I think there's okay, we went with a 120-minute package instead of the 60. All right, I'm sorry, I'm going to fix that in a minute. So then you add, what did we do here, Nadine? I'm sorry, guys, give me a moment because this is very important to me. So we were talking about the 60-minute package, and then and decide you're comfortable as a profit margin, gross profit margin, and then you add that profit margin to the basic cost.
Yeah.
Of the 120. That's right. It's me. That's going to determine, forgive me, that's going to determine how much you're going to charge for the 120-minute package. That's what it is. You're going to increase it by that extra gross margin profit you want to make. So the most expensive package, the 180 minutes, is going to be the lowest cost per minute, but it's the most expensive because it has more minutes. The second most expensive will be the 120 minutes, but you're going to add the extra 10% to the cost per minute from the 180 minutes, which will make it the more expensive per minute. But the whole package itself, you'll see on the next page, is less expensive to the customer. And then one more, you'll add another 10% to the 60-minute package. from the 120 number, so that from 180 to 120, the minutes cost 10% more. From the 120 to the 60, the minutes cost another 10% more, so that the most expensive is the lowest cost per minute. The least expensive to the consumer as a package deal is the most expensive per minute. And this way you're guaranteed to always make your profit margin. Let's go into that now. I think this is going to drive it home. I hope. God. It's so clear in my brain. I'm just trying to make sure you get to understand it. So here we have an example of your basic cost per minute, the raw basic cost. You want to make $60 per hour in your treatment room. You want a profit margin of 20%. I encourage you not to be afraid of the 20% profit margin. So $60 plus 20% margin gives you $72 that you will make per hour through the minute packages. Then you have the $72 divided by the 60 minutes gives you $1.20 per minute. That $1.20 is your basic cost per minute. Excuse me, period. So that doesn't change as your base. You will never earn less than $1.20 when somebody's on the minute package. You will never earn less than $1.20 per minute. And I'm going to share with you how you can really make sure you don't cheat yourself. So now let's look at calculating the cost of multiple packages. And the three we talked about, the 60, the 120, and the 180. $1.20 is your cost per minute for the 180 minute package, okay? So 180 minutes times $1.20, which includes your 20% profit margin. $216 is the cost of that minute package. Now, a 10% increase in that profit margin will make the 120 minute package cost $158.40 because we took the $1.20 times plus 10%, which makes it $1.32. And then it's $1.32 times 120 minutes, bringing it to $158.40. So that will be the cost. So you can see what I was saying before. The biggest package costs the most to the consumer, which makes sense at $216. The mid package only cost them $1.58.40. But the minutes cost is $1.32 versus $1.20. And this is where you can see that the best deal for them is to buy the 180 minute package. And that guarantees you they come in frequently as well for a longer period of time. Now, for the 60 minute, we add another 10% on top of the cost of a 120 minute package. So it's $1.32 plus 10%, bringing it to $1.45 per minute. And that brings that whole total package at $87.12. So let's say somebody says, oh, I don't want to spend $216. Well, we have a package deal for $87.12. I mean, do your own thing. And that's a good 60 minute package. Okay, how long would 60 minutes last me, they might say? Because, you took 20 minutes the first time I came to you, because the first time they come to you, you try to get everything as much as you can out without overworking the skin. And now what you need to do is help them understand that you don't want them to wait to grow all their hair back. You want them to come, even if there's only 5% hair. So basically, after the very first treatment, if they were shaving, after that first treatment, I would have them come back in that first week within 2-3 days, just to see what stage was ready to come out, because not all this hair is going to come out at the same time. And whatever was just coming out, that's what I would take out. And here's how that worked. First treatment, I did full face. Generally, I would do comedone extraction, eyebrow cleanup, everything I could, just to make it a full facial hair removal, conditioning, everything. Then I would get them on because it was easy for me to share the information and the value, always a purpose and a value. So for me, the purpose for them is they would never have to be burdened. I didn't want them to tweeze or shave at home. They wouldn't have to be burdened with all that shadow coming back. I will always be available to them. But the first treatment after, they need to come within 3 days. And then some of them would come the next day because I could feel hairs coming out. And then again, another 3 days, 4 days. And then you can start judging, because every body's facial needs will be different from the other. Everybody's growth will be different. And then you see, oh, it looks good. Maybe we try 5 days. And then from there, maybe eventually it goes to 7 days. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's never going to go more than 10 to 15 days if you want to keep extracting the hair as it's coming out of the skin. And that's what's going to keep them on the minute package. There might be times after, 6, 8, 10, 12 treatments that you say, you know what, let's do a full face. Let's do the comedone extraction, clean up your brows. Maybe the brows come more often anyway. And let's just do a full face. You can also do that. But when you do that, you charge the normal menu price. You don't use the minute package to do a full face. You'd be cheating them. The minute package is so that they come in frequently. You don't spend a lot of time. My clients ended up doing the mud at home, so it was easy to retail. They had to do the full circle. We'll talk about that anyway. But it was easy for me to retail it because the sooner they were out of my room, the less they got charged. So how I did that is the minute they arrived in the room, the girl at the front desk started the clock. And the minute they went to the front desk, they stopped the clock. So if they were in there for 3 minutes, I didn't charge them for 10 minutes. You could do a flat 5-minute rate though, because in the end, we ended up doing that a flat 5-minute rate. But in the beginning, it's whatever amount of time they spent in there. If it was 6 minutes, I charged for 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 7 minutes. It never went more than 10 minutes though, because that would be too much money. And that's how I felt about it. So the whole purpose of this is to be able to extract hair in the early anagen stage continually, no matter if it's 2%, 5%, 10% hair growth. You never want them to have to wait where they're going to shave or tweeze. I would rather they shave in the natural direction if something happened and they couldn't get to me, than tweeze, because at least the shaving is not interrupting the work we're doing on the inside. And I know they'll be back in a couple of days. I don't tell you to share this all the time, but in your relationship building with them, you need to be open and honest, because there will come a moment where something's in the moment, and better they shave gently in a natural direction, just wherever the hair is, than tweeze it out. Better for you, better for them. Okay. Now, you know me. You know how I feel about the conditioning of the skin. You know how I feel about making my job easier to extract the hair and partnering with our clients. So it's critically important, especially when we're dealing with probably some skin repair from overshaving or waxing, and we want to decongest those follicles, and we want to try to soften everything, and we want to keep the sugar penetrating as easy as we can. I would strongly advocate or encourage you to make, if you're selling minute packages that they sign, they use the at-home full circle 100%. In fact, I think I got a box here. I don't have anything in it, but this is a good way to get them started, because they have everything they need in here. They have the Phenomenal, they have the mud, they have the sweet cheeks, and well, they're not going to use the salt smoothie on there, but they have the other 3 items that are perfect. Salt smoothie they can use anywhere else. It's only like the 1 ounce, but the Phenomenal, the mud, and sweet cheeks will definitely last quite some time, especially the Phenomenal and the mud. So we can talk about that again, but they would have to definitely, and you can use a prescription card to just tell them, spell it out what they need to do, right? If, excuse me, they're working on this, it's a no-brainer, Phenomenal, morning and night. Just a little bit emulsified, massaged in. For sure, full face anyway, I would do that. I would do the mud at least twice a week. Doesn't have to be thick. It could just be a thin layer. And I would do the sweet cheeks once a week. And using this together with the sugaring, you'll get to a really happy place on the skin. And now I am ready for your questions.
So we did get one earlier on. I think you answered it anyway, but we might as well reiterate.
Sure.
Someone asked, do you recommend tweezing for tough hairs that can't be extracted with the tough hair extraction?
Okay, so during the treatment, let's say, I love this. It's a very good question, and I have a very good logical answer. So let's say I'm treating, and tough hair extraction is great, and most of the hair is coming out, but there's 1, 2, maybe even 3 super stubborn, won't come out. I would leave them there. I
You can
would
talk,
stop
I'm just gonna
sharing.
make you
Okay.
bigger. I'm just gonna make you bigger.
Thank you. I would leave it there because I would say, can you come back in 3-4 days? Let me get those. They just need a little more length because they're really strong, meaning they're still hung on to very tightly inside the follicle. You want to get that away. And the best way to get that away is to be able to pull that hair, as heavy as it is, especially if it's got a fat bulb, and start taking some of that inner root sheath out, and let's start clearing out the path inside that follicle, so everything, the mud can penetrate better, the phenomenal can heal better, and make the treatments go much easier and more effective every single time. So what I would ask them, can you leave them alone? And maybe even in 2 days, just pop in. I'll get those three hairs out for you, because you'll be able to go right on it, not the whole place, just right on the hair, just and then boop, it'll come out, and take care of it that way. That would be your number one option. Secondary to that, if they say, well, I have to go somewhere, I have an event tonight, I can't leave him there, here's what I recommend. And I don't have it here, but I'll just show you. So I would say, okay, I'm going to see, and I give them the mirror. Okay, I put the mirror, handheld mirror, so they can watch me do this. I'm going to see if this hair is extractable with the tweezers. But I'm going to show you, so you need to really look at the skin. I'm going to show you where you see movement. So here's the hair. I would go flat under with my tweezer, take it right at the base. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Take it right at the base. And I wouldn't pluck it. I would not pull it. I would just gently nudge it. Just do this with the tweezer so that you can see the hair movement underneath, right? And if you're doing this and then you slide and the hair comes out, it'll come out intact. It was able, and came out. But if you do this and you see movement inside, but it's not dislodging, you're going to pluck it out, and chances are you're going to break the hair. So I would say, and I would teach them that, I would say, this hair I can't take out, because if I do, I'm going to have to really pull, and it's going to probably break. And then hopefully when you do another one, it slides out. They see it slide out on the skin, and they see the difference, right? So let's say 1-2 hairs were not dislodging. The next choice, because they have to go out that night and they don't want to leave it, I would say only for that moment. And again, it's got to be on the trust you build with them. I would say go home and use the razor only in that little part, and just take it down in the natural direction. Don't go hard on the skin. Don't try to go in deep underneath. Just gently over top, so that it slices it flat, on an angle to the skin, and cover it up with makeup. And then let it grow for a few days, and let me take it out. This is my honest to God's truth. In order to maintain the integrity of the work you're doing inside the follicles, you'll get to a really great place, and you'll prevent hyperpigmentation. And the other thing is, there is zero squeezing. It's like, you got to put all this, I agree, I will never squeeze anything. I will let things go. If they happen to get an ingrown hair, do the miracles of the full circle. And it'll go away, like it'll come out, it'll release any inflammation if they got any, by just putting a little small speckle of Phenomenal and going right on it and just massaging. I always tell everybody, count to 60, massage it in. Spot checking with the mud every night, not a problem. They could even leave it on when they sleep. And then doing slight exfoliation 2-3 times a week. And of course, they're coming to you anyway. So gentle don't squeeze, don't do anything, just gentle exfoliation with the sugar. Eventually it'll come to head and it'll pop out. You'll release it, everything will go back, and you won't get hyperpigmentation. It's very important. That was a really important question. Thank you.
She came back with saying she has an African-American client that has barbed root. What do you recommend for this? I'm currently doing tough hair extraction weekly for her.
So she has that networking rooting system, you're saying? And she probably has like JPEG, or even like a paperclip hair, where the hair actually grows in a J. And you can see that, especially with African-American hair, skin and hair, when you pull it out and you keep the hair in your sugar and you pull it out, stretches. And if you just leave it, you'll see it naturally go back to its normal shape. That's how I came to realize many, many years ago, when I started researching African-American skin and hair removal on men's beards, how we have the JPEG ingrown or the JPEG growth, and then some of them is actually a paper clip, because when you let the hair go back, the part that's stretched out from the opening, it actually curves back down, almost looks like a paper clip. So in that case, you have to be very careful, because any type of hair that's rooting system that's barbed or networking can tear follicles, and when you do that, you can be a lot more susceptible to folliculitis. So I would definitely make sure you share all the information with them, and that you prepare a document like that you've shared this information, and that they agree to do the full circle at home, and they understood everything you shared with them, and they're still willing for you to do the treatment. Because what other choices a woman have? You know what I mean? It's just that you don't want them to end up with a bad infection as well. I don't have the pictures on this PowerPoint. We had a lot of success with African American skin that even they had a lot of ingrowns, and they're hyperpigmented all over the place. And we're lightening the hyperpigmentation through ongoing sugaring. So all I can say is, do your due diligence, make sure they sign a document giving you permission, and be careful. Even if you start with a patch test, even if you say, let's do this section and see how that works out. Let's give that a month of treatments every, once, twice a week. Let's see what happens. If that works well, do the other side, even it out, and just work. This is not a miracle cure. This is an ongoing relationship you're creating when it comes to hormonal facial hair growth. And you want to help them get to a point where they're not burdened by it. That's the best place we can get.
Okay, so after a treatment and after you've educated the client about full circle skincare, how would you get them to purchase a kit without being too pushy or salesy? By the way, the person who asked the previous question said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, you should never feel salesy. I have a lot of stories. So let me tell you one quick little story. When I was working, I was actually working it when I was in LA, our studio there. I had a UCLA student come to me, and she had a lot of facial hair issue, but she didn't want to pay for the Phenomenal. She said it's too expensive. I know how much she was paying for her lattes at Starbucks, but that's okay. So she didn't end up buying it. And I said to her, she looked at all the ingredients that, well, I can do this at home. I said, I'm going to tell you what, I have no problems, because I'm not here to steal your money. I just know the products work, and I know you need it. So I said, if you're going to try to make this at home for yourself and it works, I'm great, because you're going to make my job easier. If you're helping yourself at home, it's making my job much easier. And I know it's much healthier for your skin as well when I'm treating you. I said, but the thing about oils, oh, it's the natural, I can do anything with oils. They can be volatile for you, and they can become inefficient or counteractive when they're not mixed well, or when they're not formulated correctly. And I'm not even the oil specialist. I use 2 global oil specialists to help me create everything we have that we use oils in. It's just, I know what I like, but I needed expertise. That's why I understand what I understand today. Anyway, the long and the short of it is, she came back and bought her Phenomenal, because she said, you're absolutely right. It was not doing, whatever I tried to do was not working for my skin. And a Phenomenal worked for her. So the best way for you to be able to look at your customer to convince them of this is to understand how to share the information. How can you do that? You've heard my other webinars, I hope. And what do I tell everybody to do in these times where we're all stuck at home? Study. Learn more. Go to our marketing portal. Now I can talk only about AP here because we're all AP people. Go to our marketing portal, review all the webinars I've done, look at all the sweet talk chats I'm having with consumers to help them understand as well. Look at our old sweet talks. Look at our PowerPoint presentation on all of our products. Learn about them, what they're for, how they work, why they work, what the ingredients are, and apply it to your body. Or somebody in your family, somebody has problem skin somewhere, excess dry, whatever it is, eczema, psoriasis, keratosis. So I got to breathe. Keratosis, then use the products on them, because the more you see how well they work, it's so easy for me because I've seen so much good, not just on my body. It started with me and then it spewed out to the world, because if I touch someone, if I share something with them, they believe me. Why do you think that? You're looking at me right now. Because it's in me, because I know, because I've seen what it can do to me and many others. So if you're not an advocate of using our products for your home care, how can you look at somebody in their eyes and say, I know what it's going to do for you? But you know what? It's going to help you, help me, help you. So you better help me, help you, because in the end, we all win. And that's, sorry, that's what I would do. But you got to do your due diligence first, because I don't know. I mean, maybe you believe me, I can use Lena's words, but nothing will ever be as strong as your own words when they see it coming from you, your eyes, your smile, your nerves, everything. Because when you speak the truth, it's there.
Okay, would you recommend building the package cost with products for Full Circle or as an add-on with a discount for package purchases to really encourage Full Circle use?
Yes, and yes, and there's no losing in the decision you make. What can you afford to do is what you should do. Okay, so if you're a salon and you say, I don't really want to have to put in a package, I don't want to hide it in a price, I just want them to buy it because it's good for them. And that's the person I was. But I also know from dealing with so many different personalities that not everybody can relate how I relate. I wish everybody could, because the truth is the truth, and that's all there is to it. But there's nothing wrong with doing your package deals with the kit. Maybe you do the package deal with just this, or maybe you do the package deal, the big one with the 4-ounce mud and a full phenomenal, because that 180-minute package is going to last several months, right? You can calculate that. So let's do a quick calculation, actually, just for fun. Let's look at the 180 minutes, which how many hours is that? Is 60 and 30, 1.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say the average that they'll come in is 5 minutes. So 180 minutes divided by 5 is like 30, it was about 30 something, almost 40, 30 something. So 30 something weeks. So that's like, 36. That's what we did the other day. So that's like almost, a good half year anyway. Maybe sometimes they come more because something happened. They're going somewhere. They want to use it. Just all these little variables that can go, but it's, that's going to be like a good 6 months. So then you're going to want to tell them to include in a package the bigger one so that they don't run out as often. Maybe for the small package, you do this one. Or maybe, like you said, maybe you do an intro, you do a discount, something. That's why I said yes, yes, yes. There's no wrong way for you. Sometimes in marketing, you just have to try something as a month trial and see what works for you. And the next time you try something else to see which one captures more. And then you know what works for your environment, your clients. That's the most important, what works with them.
So we just talked about this one today. How to handle face covering and facial services.
Because it's just us, I'm going to be very frank with all of you. So first of all, these things that they're trying to represent now, where the customer lays down and they got this big, huge pipeplex over here. When I saw that, I just about died. I thought, first word, how stupid. Because the virus, the bacteria, the droplets are going to stick to these pipeplex more than anything. But not only that, they can escape 100% going outward through the sides because they're not covered. And then the customer leaving, every time the customer leaves, you're going to have to disinfect that thing inside and out. So those to me are stupid and I will not represent. I investigated because I saw in Europe, they're starting to like, oh my God, we're going to have to use these. So I investigated actually several companies, including the 3D printers and everything, because I thought, wow, if this is going to be a thing, but now I can't because it's just stupid. After my investigation, I will not be representing that. We will, however, bring in the masks because I think that's never going to ever going to go away. And I'm going to tell you, my esthetician has been using that since the day I met her for a few years now in my neighborhood that I go to. And she's always worn it whenever I've been with her. So this is just going to take our sanitation factor to another level. Masks are a part of our future starting today. No change. Now for the visors, the face, what do you call face shields? I'm investigating it because it is being mandated in many countries in Europe. But my concern is still that the pipeplex is going to grab on to a lot of those droplets, even that the esthetician is breathing. So I don't think that's going to be considered a very healthy thing. And I don't think we're going to end up having those manufactured for us either, because I think it's going to cause a problem in the future. Most important is that we wear a mask, we disinfect everything. I have heard, and I think I'm going to grab onto an article about air purifiers and everything right in the rooms. I'm an advocate of that anyway, with the air conditioning and the air purifiers. It's all good to use in your room anyway, healthier. They do say, don't stay in a small environment. So maybe after each client, make sure you step out, just step outside, outside or step outside of your room. And the only thing that I don't know if it's going to be mandated is whether clients have to wear a mask through the whole time.
I think that's what she's actually trying to ask.
Well, I'm sorry. I might be giving you too much information, but it's all relatable. If the clients have to keep their masks on, I know there's a couple of areas that it's being mandated, but we don't know if this is the new norm or a paranoid change. For today, that will change again next month, next week, next year. We don't know. Let's go with the intention that they have to keep this on, and we can't do facials anymore. That's just freaking insane, right? But let's pretend for a minute that's the case. In this particular case, and I'm only talking AP, there's two things you can do to help yourself for money. And that's, lucky I have it here, and I only have it here because I was using it the other day for a demonstration. Small 2-ounce facial kiss kit that you can sell to your clients, and all you got to do is double your price of whatever you pay for your wholesale price, double your price, sell them the kit, show them how to do it real quick, and they can do it at home. If we cannot touch this anymore, we need them to be able to do something safe and effective. As God is my witness, I still thank my angels for helping me come to this decision of doing this type of ambassador program and getting the kiss waxing out there, because I don't think that's going away in the future. So there's that option for them to do at home. And why wouldn't you? And if we cannot do facials at home, what about learning how to do our Sweet and Plump facial, and then do your own webinars with your customers on how they can do it at home? Because again, you're retailing more. So you got to work with whatever changes are here. That's where I say we have to accept that changes is here, period. We have to accept that the new norm is different than what it was yesterday. Okay, so how do we go along with that? We adjust. We do what we can to make things better for us and for the customers, and we go forward. We don't think about what we had because it's gone. We go forward with what we have and continue to improve on that. That's it. It's the more we accept that, the easier every day is more beautiful, because it's just life. It's not a big deal. You just have to let go in order to accept and invite the new and take your steps forward. Please trust me. It's really that simple. Yeah.
Okay. Is there info, webinar, or blog on retailing and how to price retail?
No, but we can, because now we're doing weekly. We're doing bi-weekly marketing webinars. Mm-hmm. Yes, we're doing bi-weekly marketing webinars. So Nadine is going to take a note.
But I was going to say, our marketing portal does have our product awareness. It's a PDF right now because the PowerPoint's large, but that has all the information on retail.
Yes, it has the information, but it doesn't have how to price. So what I'm going to tell you in a nutshell, you have your price list. I have to sugar. I can feel a hair. It's tickling me. It's very blonde. You can't see it. But where was I?
It's not on how to retail the price.
No, right. So take your price list, and whatever your cost is, your wholesale cost, you can double it for retail pricing. And then better you double it, because we made that margin available to you, and pretty much that's what we do at our studio. So we just double it. Better you double it and offer a discount to your customers if you want to offer incentives, monthly specials, package specials, whatever. So double it so that you have a margin to play with. Basically, if you double it, you're getting, a 50% margin at your 100% markup. That's a lot of goodness to work with. So don't be afraid of that.
So someone, I'm not sure if they're asking us or just the chat in general, but they asked, are we not able to do facials?
If they mandate, so please understand, I'm not saying that this is the new law. I do know that right now there's a couple of places that it is their law that the people cannot take their masks off when they go to salons or aesthetics. So that would mean if they can't take that off, you can't do their facial and you can't sugar them. From this part, you can still do the brows, but you can't do this. So if that's the case, what I'm suggesting. And if it's not the case, continue to do your treatments. But if it is the case, which I think is ridiculous, but I'm not the one setting the laws, then you have facial kiss kit, you have travel kit, all these little kits that are easy and affordable, and you have your 100% markup possibility to have some playtime with for your customers.
Lots of thanks. No other questions right now.
Is everything clear? Does anybody have any, did everybody understand how to I'm getting talked out these things, how to calculate your minute packages. Did you all understand it? I mean, you can go back to it, take your time to read it. It's really clear, but did you all understand it? Is there anyone who can say, hey, I have a question? Or so you know that in our master facial class, we teach tough hair extraction, ladies. And we're going to have those online sometimes, not this year now, because now we had to hold up everything, but next year. This year, June 1st, we're launching our certification, sugaring certification program online, and then we'll have all our master classes. But the hands-on master class for facials teaches tough hair extraction. This is something you need to master. And before you go into the class to master tough hair extraction, you've got to have your 6 steps down, because that number 6 is like you have to have 1 and number 6 perfect to be able to do tough hair without people feeling it on the skin. You got to learn. You have to master that. Yeah, I have a lot. Yes, I do. I even teach you on the Facebook support. If you're not there, get there. If you're there and you haven't taken time to look at all my tips and practice videos, you're wasting your time, especially right now while you're at home. I actually show you how to practice tough hair extraction. So I have these 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes practice things I do for you. So I ask you to practice certain things 5 to 10 minutes every day, and you have time to do it now. So it's there for tough hair extraction. It's there for that 6th step for the kickoff. It's there. It's there for everything. It's there for eyebrow. It's there for everything. So take a look, get around. I don't know. I never go on there, so I don't know where all the videos are, but I hope, because I asked that it goes all under videos, right? On the support case. So it should all be click videos, and you should get a list of my videos there. Lots and lots of tools for you. And really, should check in with your state boards to see what because slowly we're going back, right? Some states are out already. And I think for me, I'm more like, let's see what happens in the first week. Let's see if anything spikes. No. Second week? No. I think we're going to feel much more confident. But you should keep up with your own state board regulations of what they expect you to do when you go back. So I know this is a must for us. For the clients is another thing. I know gloves, well, we mandated gloves long before anyway. The face shield, if it's a must, you'll need to get it. I just fear that it's not healthy for us to have that on all day because of all the droplets that get trapped in there. Better the droplets go to the air with the virus and eventually die off. Better that than holding it here right next to us, breathing it in. There's no logic for me. And then there's going to be, sanitation. You got to watch how you sanitize. And so just know what your state rules are and follow the guidelines. And if something's interesting, share with us so we can share with everybody else as well, because we're going to be getting a lot of back and forth conversations about this, I'm sure.
Someone's typing, so let's just give it a second. And of course, one of our webinars, our upcoming webinars within the next couple of weeks, will be on COVID and returning to work. So we will do one on that specific. I
don't know if you just heard Nadine say that. One of our upcoming webinars will be on COVID and returning back to work. So make sure you tune in for that one as well. Yeah, somebody's typing, so we're just waiting.
Oh, just thanks so much, Lynn. Your passion and dedication really shine through. Blessings.
Thank you. I don't have anything else to share unless, on this topic anyway, unless somebody is, I think we're all done. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us, and We'll see you next time. Take advantage of your downtime with us, please. Thanks.